Broadcasting from the Cannon Motor Studio on Central Avenue in downtown Laurel, Mississippi. This is Good Morning Pine Belt with host Ben Winpigler on SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.
Good morning, Pine Belt. Thank you for tuning in this morning. We're in here on a Tuesday edition, first 2026 edition of Good Morning Pine Belt. We got a locked and loaded show for you, ready to go. We got a great show ahead of us and lots to talk about. But before I bring in our first guest today, obviously we're broadcasting live here in historic downtown Laurel on a Tuesday morning. From the Cannon Motor Studio, this first segment of Good Morning Pine Belt is brought to you by Bank First. For all of your banking needs, go see Bank First today. Now officially new family merged and everything with Magnolia State Bank, but it's still all the same people that you know and trust. Just a new name, a little bit new technology, and go check them out today. Bank First, now lots and lots of locations for all you Magnolia State Bank customers around the Pine Belt. More convenient for you here in the area. All right, joining us now from the Laurel Leader-Call, he is the sports guy, Josh, a.k.a. Guru Nichols there. And Josh, I'm sure you noticed there in that first segment, that Hot for Teacher is a great song, but it's kind of a hard, it took too long to get the intro. That's why I was sitting there waiting for it to drop, and I was like, man, this is longer than I remember. How you doing this morning, Josh?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Well, Josh, there's obviously lots going on in the sports world today, but before we kind of get into college and a little bit of NFL, I want to talk, just do a small recap of the high school football season because we had a great season for the first time in a long time. All four of the Jones County schools were in the playoffs, which is fantastic for us. Unfortunately, they all exited pretty early, with the exception of Laurel, who was the surprise of the season, if you will. But there's been even some surprises in the offseason. So kind of give you your wrap-up of the high school football season.
Yeah, correct right there. You know, it was the first time in quite a while that all four Jones County schools made it into the playoffs. And also, like you said, we had three of them with West, Northeast, and South dropping their first-round games. Laurel, you know, they started off slowly for the second year in a row, playing a very tough non-district schedule. But Coach Ernest got the boys rolling, took them to the South State Championship game where they actually ended up losing to the eventual Class 5A state champions in Brookhaven. So, you know, kudos to Coach Ernest and his group of Tornadoes and to all four schools for making it into the playoffs because, you know, in every sport, that's pretty much your goal at the beginning of the year is to get to the playoffs. And, you know, looking for bigger and better things in 26 for all four of our schools.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's talk specifically there about West Jones. Obviously, like you said, they had a quick exit there in the first round, but still a pretty good season. And the last few seasons have done really well for them. Obviously, they're the first season there, but quite a shock there right after their season ended not too long. I got the announcement that Corey Reynolds was stepping down there at West Jones, and I know he was right there at retirement. We don't have to get into too far details, but I guess about 3 weeks later, we got the announcement that an old name was coming back to West Jones.
Correct. You know, with Corey's a great guy, a friend of mine. Won state title, perfect season in 23, his first year at West Jones. Made the playoffs the last 2 years. And like you said, it was kind of pretty much shocking news. There's really no backstory to it other than it was just a mutual decision that he decided to step down and move on and pursue other things. Mm-hmm. And then the big surprise came, like you said, a couple of weeks later when former head coach, the legendary Scott Pearson, announced that he was coming out of retirement and coming back out to West Jones to take over the Mustangs. And I tell you, I, for one, am excited. Scott is a real close personal friend of mine. Yeah. And I mean, his track record speaks for itself.
Absolutely, it does. He was obviously there when, and myself, my older brother, all of us kind of grew up there under the Scott Pearson era, and he's a special guy, and he kind of brings that and him along with Coach Taylor, who was there before him, kind of created that West Jones grit, and that West Jones is known for. So it'll be good to have him back on. We're not quite ready for it, but high school baseball, we don't have a ton of info on it, but high school baseball will be starting here before too long, won't it?
Yeah, it'll be, I think, February the 7th. Don't hold me to that.
Okay.
If that's a Saturday, I think it's correct, is when Jones College will be hosting a jamboree for our local baseball teams.
Okay.
So, yeah, what's that, right out a month out?
Yeah, out a month.
You know, everything's, as we get older, I know you can attest to it too, you know, everything just seems to just fly right by, and especially being in the media business, whether it's radio or newspaper, you know, the calendars, the months on the calendar just keep flipping by. Yeah,
they go quick. So baseball will be here before we know it, and I'm sure we'll have Guru back on to talk some high school baseball on before that. But, Josh, we obviously I mentioned it off air. Man, it has been between college football and NFL football. I don't know what is crazier in the coaching carousel, but obviously you're wearing an LSU shirt. It worked out a little bit on your end in the coaching carousel, didn't it?
It has to this point, with Lane Kiffin coming from Ole Miss and coming down to Baton Rouge. He was the guy I wanted before LSU hired Brian Kelly, but stars didn't align at that time. The only thing that's kind of disconcerting for me is right now watching a lot of the players I thought he was going to bring from Ole Miss have decided to re-up and stay in Oxford. Going to be it's an interesting time. We're in, day 4 of the transfer portal window that closes on the 16th, and LSU's brought in a few recruits through the portal. No really big names at this point, but you know that was kind of the tip of the iceberg in the coaching carousel for not only college but in the pros as well. I mean, some of the things that went down in the last 48 hours in the
Black
NFL.
Monday.
Oh, gee whiz. I mean, Pete Carroll, you give him 1 year. I mean, he got you the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, I mean the legend of Pete Carroll. I mean, like you said, 1 year and he's gone. I mean,
well, and it's funny we talk about that. I was talking to my stepson last night because I Googled it and looked it up. The Raiders started in 1960. From 1960 to 2000, they had a total of 12 head coaches.
Oh, my.
From 2000 to now, they'll be looking for their 16th head coach.
That is wild.
I mean, average is like 1.5 years.
That's wild. I feel like ever since Al Davis, I mean, not to say he wasn't quick turnaround too, but even since he left the organization, it has really gone downhill since he died. But yeah, there's quite a bit in the NFL. Obviously, Pete Carroll was the big shock there, but kind of back to college in the playoff. I know you're not a fan, and I'm not the biggest fan in the world, but it's always good for the state of Mississippi. Ole Miss, what a run! I mean, what a run that they are on right now.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think anybody was shocked with that first round matchup when they just blew the doors off Tulane. That didn't shock anybody. But then the way they hung in, fought back, and came back in the fourth quarter to knock off Georgia, that was a really surprising outcome to a lot of us. And Thursday's matchup with them and Miami. I mean, Miami has two of the biggest wins in the playoffs, in my opinion, knocking off Texas A&M and College Station, then knocking off Ohio State.
Defending national champion.
Yeah, and they did it very convincingly. Yeah. It's something I wrote about for tomorrow's paper and a little preview of the two college playoff games that are left. And, I mean, I think both of the games that are left, Ole Miss, Miami, Indiana, Oregon, either of those can go either way. I won't be surprised who plays for the national championship nor who wins the national championship, because I think with what we've seen out of all four teams, I think anything is possible at this point. You got to say Indiana's still the favorite.
I agree. They're just so dominant.
They are. Dominant. But at the same time, you also kind of question the level of competition that they played to this point maybe. But then again, I mean, they embarrassed Alabama.
They did.
And nobody typically embarrasses Alabama.
Yeah, they really did, and that's why I'm leaning. I really am leaning towards Indiana now. But Oregon though, while they have won a lot this year, they've almost, I mean, to use a duck term, flown a little bit under the radar as far as talent goes. But they're always known for their speed, and I think they've got. I mean, and Dan Lanning is just as good a coach as any.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised as in the next 2 or 3 years when a big and not knocking Oregon.
Yeah.
But if we get a big opening in the SEC again, I wouldn't be surprised
Alabama.
to see Lanning. Yeah. Absolutely, Lanning coming back to the South.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure how much longer DeBoer will make it. I predicted that he would be canned after this year, but I guess I
gave it 3.
Yeah, and it might just be the year. But well, Guru, we appreciate you coming on, man. Like I said, we'll have you back on before high school baseball season starts to talk a little baseball. But until then, we'll talk to you next time, man.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right, when we come back, we're going to be talking a little Dolly Parton, Boots and Bling, coming up next on Good Morning Pine Belt. We'll be right back.
We're back to Good Morning Pine Belt. SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.
All right. Good morning, Pine Belt. We are back. Thank you for tuning in this morning, wherever you may be listening. Our thanks to Josh Guru Nichols there from the Laurel Leader-Call. Go check out the Laurel Leader-Call today. They've got all the updated news across the Pine Belt, and Josh does a fantastic job there of keeping you up to date with sports. I'm sure he'll have some big baseball previews here in the next few weeks as we get closer to everybody's favorite time of the year, baseball season. Well, at least it's my favorite time of the year anyway. All right, before we bring in our next guest, I want to mention that this segment of Good Morning Pine Belt is brought to you by McLaurin Carpets out in Soso. From carpet to custom tile shower, you can go see McLaurin Carpets today. I was just out there talking to my good buddy Junior yesterday, and they are ready to build the shower of your dreams, the custom tile shower of your dreams, the beautiful hardwood floors, whatever. Really, if it's flooring or tile work, you can go check them out today right off of Highway 28 in Soso or at McLaurinCarpets.com for quality that will long be remembered after pricing is forgotten. All right, joining us now is Miss Biz Harris. She is with Nurture Our Future. And Biz, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, Biz, I'll tell you what. We are coming up on definitely my wife's favorite event of the year that we have here in Laurel. But this is the... How many years have we been doing this event now?
Actually, this is our second year.
Okay, second year. I forgot that last year was the first year, and it was so much fun. So tell us about the event that's coming up here at the end of the month.
Well, you said your favorite time of the year is baseball season. I would say that one of my favorite times of the year is Dolly Parton's birthday.
Yes.
And, Queen Dolly's 80th birthday is
80.
in the end of January.
Okay.
And so because she is the founder of the Imagination Library program, which is the program that provides free books to children all around the country from the time they're born until their 5th birthday, we celebrate her birthday with a fundraiser. So Dolly provides the books, but somebody locally has to raise the money for those books.
Yes.
So that's what Nurture Our Future does. We make sure that I think it's almost 3,000 babies are getting books right now in Jones County.
Wow. How long has Nurture Our Future been going?
Since 2020, but we've been doing the program since 2021. So
Okay.
I want to say we've given out over 75,000 books in that time.
Well, I'll tell you, that is probably my kids' favorite. The only reason they want to check the mailbox is to see if Dolly sent them a book.
Yep.
And it's so fun to see when they open that book. Talk about how important that is for the kids. And I know that's why she started it, the kids to have these books.
Right. So her dad couldn't read.
Okay.
He was illiterate, and he was always embarrassed about it. And so she said sort of, at the end of his life, look, I don't want any child to ever not know how to read. I want, and one of the best predictors of literacy is access to books, easy access to books. Yeah. So she started that program in Tennessee, and then people just loved it so much that she said, look, if you've got somebody who'll do it, anybody can have these books.
Yeah.
So that's why we exist. But, I mean, gosh, Queen Dolly, you have to celebrate her, right? And her 80th birthday.
Absolutely. And like you said, all these books, while they are free to the kid, they are not free.
Right.
So y'all do lots of different things across the year, but y'all's biggest fundraiser is coming up in celebration of Dolly's birthday. So tell us about the second annual Boots and Bling.
Yes. Okay. So we will be at Wilson's Commissaries for the second year. They're incredibly generous to sponsor this event and let us, take over their whole upstairs and downstairs.
Yes.
We will deck it out in all things glittery, blingy, Western.
Yes.
And we are having Jones and Pine as our band this year. Last year it was incredible, Letitia and Friends.
Yeah,
and
she was
this year,
great.
She was so good. And this year it's Jones and Pine. And we will have a costume contest. So, folks, we want folks to dress up, pretend like it is Mardi Gras, y'all. I mean, it is Mardi Gras. It will be Mardi Gras.
Yeah, it's close enough.
So we have several categories.
Yeah, okay.
It's like Best Dolly.
Yeah.
And last year, actually, I believe a man won the Best Dolly. He had a wig you would not believe.
I remember it.
And then we have a category, Best Boots, the Boots category, which is like a Western. The person who is like dressed in the most Western attire. And then we have Bling. So we want you, the person who is the glitteriest, the gaudiest.
Yeah.
Of course, lean in kind of country there too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to throw some country in there. You can't just have all the bling and not have the country western flair. That's Dolly's thing. Well, we were talking off air. Sometimes, kind of especially in this area, we don't like to. It's almost like we're embarrassing ourselves if we get too good. But that's the fun of it. Now, this isn't New Orleans where you're getting super weird, but it's close to Mardi Gras. We're having fun. And it's okay to get out there and dress up a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, we had at least 8 people, 10 people last year, maybe even more, had big old blonde wigs on, okay? And that was amazing.
Yeah.
I think if the room was full of blonde wigs, that would make me so happy.
Yeah.
I am probably not wearing my same outfit, but last year my year was like a full-on white sort of Elvis jumpsuit.
Yes.
That was glitteried for Dolly. It's just we just want it to be a fun event. We want it to be, full of joy, and because she is just the queen of joy and good vibes, and so that's what we really want for this.
And there's
night.
some good prizes for the winners.
Yes, we have cash prizes for the winners. I want to say it's $100 per each category.
Oh, come on!
And also, we have raffle tickets.
Yes.
If you can't come, you can still buy a raffle ticket online. We're using a virtual system this year, so folks who can't even be there can still support us. Also, even if you can't be there, we have one more day. If somebody still wants to be a sponsor for us, we have one more day to sponsor us. And again, all the money we raise, we are a totally volunteer organization. Yep. All the money we raise goes to fund books, which is like. It's like $25 per child per year, y'all. It's so reasonable, and that's 12 books. Wow. So for $25, a baby gets books for a whole year. Yeah. Every month, and
they get it till they're 5,
until
right?
their 5th birthday, and then on every birthday, and especially their 5th one, Dolly sends a video that says "Happy Birthday" to the babies, which is really fun via email. I also want to say we're doing something even more exciting and new this year, and y'all at SuperTalk may want to participate. Okay. Laurel Main Street, we're partnering with Laurel Main Street to do a window decorating contest for downtown businesses. We want to decorate downtown for Dolly. Okay. And I believe on the 19th, no, that's not right. This party is the 24th, so I think on the 22nd is when we're judging. Okay. And there will also be there will be 2 VIP tickets given to the winning window. Okay.
What's a VIP ticket?
Well, you have a special seated area. You definitely get a chair. You don't have to wait around or hope somebody claims you a seat. No, there will be a seat for you in a roped off area with a few extra little happies.
I've never got to go behind the rope, so maybe I want to.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting to be.
You can also purchase VIP tickets. There are VIP tickets for sale, but you win them if your window is the gaudiest, the jazziest. The theme is Boots and Bling. So downtown businesses, please, you can reach out to me or Caroline. We just want y'all to really celebrate Dolly's birthday with us. Make downtown Laurel, and you can lean into Valentine's already hot pink.
There you go. There you go. Well, I know this is a ticketed event. Yes. How do people get tickets, or when the time comes, if they can't come for whatever reason, how are they going to be able to do the auction and everything?
Yes. So Zeffy is our online ticket platform, and if you go to Our website, which is Nurture Our Future, I'm sorry, y'all, msnurtureourfuture.org, or our Instagram account, MS Nurture Our Future.
Yeah.
The link is in our profile to the ticket website. So you just go right there. And you can purchase your regular tickets or your VIP tickets. The VIP tickets also get you a little in a little early too.
Yes, yes. And there are a lot of people, but Wilson's is a great place, but there's a lot of people in there. So if you want a VIP ticket, get it now. When is the deadline to get those tickets?
I believe, we sell them until we sell out.
Okay.
But last year we sold out at the door, but I think this year so many people had such a good time.
Yeah.
We are expecting to sell out pretty soon.
So get them now.
I would get them now.
Yeah,
I would
why
get
wait?
those tickets now. Why wait? If our sponsors get tickets, we're so appreciative to our signature sponsor, Memory Chapel. They've been our sponsor twice, and we're just so appreciative that they love Dolly too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, again, this is a very important event. Again, it's so important to get these kids these books. I know that you said there's 3,000 right now.
About somewhere getting close. I mean, we've given over 3,700 children over the course, but I think right now we're getting up to 3 right now. If that makes sense.
And it's so much. I mean, to see the look on their faces when they get the books, it doesn't matter the income level. It's free for them to sign up, and it's so important for them to get these books. But again, these books aren't free, so y'all have to raise this money, and this is a fun, great event to do that. Remind us real quick, Biz, of the date, time, location, and how people can get tickets to Boots and Bling.
That's really important.
Yes.
So the date is January 24th. I believe it's from 7 to 10, 6:30 to 10, depending on if you're a VIP or not. And it's at Wilson's Commissary in downtown Laurel. And tickets are on Zeffy. And if you go to our MS Nurture Our Future on Instagram and on Facebook, you can find the link to get those tickets too.
And we're going to tag it on our Facebook page, so look for it here shortly after the show. But, Biz, we appreciate what y'all are doing for the community and the books, and we're excited. Like I said, I know my wife's been excited for 2 months now, so we're excited to be there.
Get your outfit ready.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, when we come back, we're going to be talking a little insurance with my buddy Michael Welch there from Farm Bureau. Stick around. Good morning, Pine Belt. We'll be right back from the Cannon Motor Studio.
This is Good Morning Pine Belt on SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.
Good morning, Pine Belt. We are back live here from the Cannon Motor Studio. Appreciate everybody tuning in wherever you may be listening. Our thanks to Miss Biz Harris there with Nurture Our Future. I'm telling you, if you want to get behind an organization that really is doing great things in our community, go to Nurture Our Future. Go support them. Even if you can't make this event coming up at the end of the month, support them anyway. Like she said, no kid should grow up not knowing how to read, and if you can do something about it by putting a book in their hands instead of an iPad, do that. All right, before we bring in our next guest, I do want to mention that this segment of Good Morning Pine Belt is brought to you by Community Bank, local bankers, local decisions, and plenty of convenient locations, including one just down the block here on Central Avenue, so you can go check them out today. Josh, Eric, Sawyer, not Sawyer, he's moved on now. The whole crew over there, Nikki, they'll all get you taken care of at Community Bank today. All right, joining us now, I wanted to bring somebody in. I know we brought in Brett Bouchelon from the Social Security office, and I've talked to a couple other people, but this time of year, lots of people are looking at their coverage, insurance, plans, whatever the case may be, to kind of reevaluate what they need in their lives, whether it be home, auto, whatever. So I wanted to bring in a guy who I knew was an expert because I use him all the time. And we've got a good relationship now with Farm Bureau, obviously. But From joining us now from the Farm Bureau office just down the road here in Ellisville is Michael Welch. How you doing this morning, Michael?
I'm good, Ben. It's good to be here. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Well, Michael, as I mentioned, like I said, this time of year, lots of people kind of reevaluating what they need in the insurance world, like whether it be home, auto, life, whatever. So I can imagine this time of year, y'all stay pretty busy.
It is, and it's kind of really what we hang our hat on. You know, we're a phone call away. That's really what we pride ourselves on, is all the way from billing to coverage or any kind of questions that you have. We like to sit down with our customers face to face and kind of explain the coverage they have. A lot of people have no idea what coverages they have or what they mean or what limits they have. And so we really like to go through that each year and answer any questions that people may have. With that.
Absolutely. And I know one thing we talked about off air and talked about plenty of times is a lot of times with insurance is so nationalized. You've got your big names, and I'm not going to mention them, but you've got the ones who spend billions upon billions of dollars in advertising with Patrick Mahomes and other people like that. But y'all focus so much on being here and being local. And honestly, you kind of mentioned it, but that makes the biggest difference in the world, doesn't it?
It is. And so each agent that's in the counties, we're in all 82 counties across the state. And not only do we work there, our kids go to school there locally. And all of our staff that worked in the buildings and all of our adjusters, whenever you call somebody, when you support Farm Bureau, you're not just supporting a company that is worldwide. We're national, but we're also local.
Yeah.
And so that's really cool to know that your kids are going to school with mine, and whenever you're putting your trust in somebody that is local like that, whenever you need insurance and when you need coverage, you need it to come into play.
Yeah.
We're able to give us a call on our cell phones, and we can answer that and take care of you immediately instead of you be sent to a 1-800 number, and who knows who you're going to get in contact with.
You're absolutely right, and I can certainly attest to that. I've had a couple of instances, like when we had to have our roof replaced at our old house a few years ago. We called up. You weren't quite there at the time, but Jordan Walters was our guy at the time, and he took care of us just in a snap. Had him out there, and then we've had some car changings and some kids that were born in. I didn't even have to call them half the time. I just text you, and y'all are on it. And that, I'll tell you, sometimes you may get better rates and different things, but that when y'all get to the meat and bones of it, the claims, the changing things, and making it, that's really where y'all shine, isn't it?
That's right, because insurance is one of those things that people, you never really want to talk about it. Nobody at the end of the day is really excited about paying insurance premiums, but whenever you need it, that's whenever it comes to the important part. And you can say a lot of things about Farm Bureau, but what you can't say is that we will always take care of our customers.
Yes.
They are first. And whenever a claim needs to be paid and has to be paid, we're obviously there, the first ones writing checks. The tornado from the Easter tornado, that was evident there. Yeah. We were on doorsteps the next morning writing checks from to customers, and so that's really big for us.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into some new things that y'all are doing, I want to talk real quick. How long have you been moving Farm Bureau now?
I'm working on 4 years now.
4 years. So you actually came from the restaurant world. What brought you to insurance and Farm Bureau? And
so I've had a Farm Bureau insurance for a long time. I was in the restaurant business for 15 years, had Bo's and Joe's downtown there in Ellisville, and so I had some really good friends that worked for the company here at Farm Bureau, and I saw how well they took care of me, and I just put a bug in the local agency manager, Chris Stockman's ear of, hey, if you ever need somebody, this might be something that I'll be interested in. Yeah. And so as our kids started getting older and it was time for a career change, this is kind of the next step, and it's been a really good move for us personally. Well,
I'll say this. I'm excited that you're my agent. You do a fantastic job, but still a little sad that the hush puppies from Boots shows are gone. Y'all have the best. One day I'm going to talk you out of that recipe, and we're going to have some more hush puppies. My wife really misses it. But, Michael, I really wanted to bring you on now because, like I said, lots of people are looking to make changes, and y'all have something new that came up, I believe it was in November, that's really kind of changing, and we can't call it insurance because it's not technically insurance, but changing the way people look at their health coverage.
That's right. And so we are here at Farm Bureau, Mississippi, we are offering an individual health plan now. It is a medically underwritten plan. There are some really great benefits from it. The cost compared to your, on the market plans, they seem to be a good bit cheaper. We've had a lot of success so far writing those plans. And so they are individually written. It is a plan that you can be denied coverage based off of pre-existing conditions, but it's a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan.
Yeah.
And so the good thing about that is, you're dealing with us as well through that process. So if you need assistance through the application process, you're dealing with a local agent here in Jones County. You can go sit down with one of them in the office instead of calling on the phone or getting on the internet and having to talk to a bot or somebody that's generating that. We can walk you through that process.
That's really big, and especially that y'all are working with Blue Cross, that means the network's got to be pretty big, right?
It is. And so it's once you get the plan, you're in that network, nationwide network. And so it's a really good option that people can have. And so it's not, most of your plans, especially on the ACA side, are open enrollment beginning around November. But this plan is we can write it any time of the year.
Okay, that's big.
It is. And so if someone loses their job or if coverage becomes unaffordable or this is a plan that we can write from January 1 to December the 31st.
Yeah. Well, that's a big deal because, like you said, if something unfortunate does happen, a lot of times people have to sit and wait, and now they don't have to.
Well, making changes and those type things, that you have to wait until that enrollment comes up. But with us, like I said, it's just going through the approval process and submitting that application, and once you get approved, that coverage happens the following month, the first of the next month.
And I know we talked off air. This has really been, obviously, it can be great depending on what you are, and certainly look at your coverage and call your local guy. But you said it's been really good for like self-employed people, right? It
is. So people that are self-employed, dependents on other people's plans.
Okay.
That's kind of where we're seeing a lot of success. If you're at a business that is paying your insurance, obviously you're going to want to stay there, unless it's just a poor plan.
Right.
But really where we're seeing a lot of success is the small business people that are having to pay their own out on the open market, and this is going to be good for them.
Well, I'll tell you, I know my father-in-law is finally, he's back on a plan, but because he's working with the state now, but he had a lot of trouble with that when he came out of retirement from the Coast Guard, finding plans. Because I'm telling you, man, just watching him walk through that process, some of those plans are just outrageously expensive.
They really are. And so it's, we've had calls from, I've wrote plans already of small business and people, but also bridging that gap from people retiring until, Medicaid picks up. And so the plan goes to age 65. It's individually plans, and so if you have a family of 3, there's going to be 3 individual plans there. But also it contributes to a family deductible. So they're individual deductibles, but there's a family deductible that is met there from all of that as well. Yeah.
Well, obviously that's one of the new things that y'all are doing, but that's certainly not all that y'all do. Y'all have got insurance, health plan. Y'all are across the board. Y'all can handle it all.
Yeah, and that's something I wasn't quite ready for, I guess, whenever I started. And they joked about it whenever I was beginning my training. But one thing I tell people is if it's got the name insurance in it, we write it. Obviously we do your property and casualty and your life, but we do long-term care, we do disability, we do the life insurance, we do the health plans now. We do equipment policies, anything that you need, we have a market for it.
Yeah. And that's impressive because you don't get a lot of one-stop shops for a lot of times it's, you got to go here for this, here for that, and you got to deal with 15 different people. Well, with y'all, you can deal with one person, and he's likely just a few miles from you down the road.
That's right. And kind of the biggest thing that, I like to do is to sit down with customers and have them bring their policies in, and we'll look at them. And, if they have a policy that's good and that is competitive and the coverage is good, I'm going to tell them that. We're going to tell them, hey, you've got a good policy. I wouldn't leave. Maybe we're not quite as competitive as we need to be right now, but it's a cycle that goes through, and we know that as long as the people of Jones County are being taken care of, obviously we want them to be with us.
Right.
But we really pride ourselves on being the ones that you can sit down with, get an educated recommendation from a local agent, and I promise you we're going to give you our best recommendation to you individually, and not what's best for us, but what's best for you.
Yeah, and I can attest to that because Michael has sat down with me and my family and done that over the years. And before I get into my final question, can I keep you around for one more segment?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. So, but yeah, y'all have really done a fantastic job of that, and keeping up with people and doing that locally, and that's so important. And I lost my train of thought, which is why I'm rambling. But I'm going to keep Michael around for the last segment because I want to ask you, Michael, I'm going to go ahead and get your brain rolling on this. I want to ask you to take your Farm Bureau hat off and talk strictly educational as we get into this season changes. What recommendations do you have for people as they start looking into changes and doing different things? And like I said, take your Farm Bureau hat off. Hey, I'm just here to help, strictly educational kind of thing.
Sure.
So when we're going to come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Michael Welch, agent right down the road in Ellisville for Farm Bureau. We'll be right back on Good Morning Pine Belt from the Cannon Motor Studio. Stick around.
Good Morning Pine Belt, SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.
All right, we are back. First show of 2026, final segment here in the Cannon Motor Studio. Good Morning Pine Belt, we are back. Beautiful, historic downtown Laurel. As we kick off the year, important topics that we're talking about here, especially in the insurance world. We're going to continue our conversation in just a minute, but before I do that, I wanted to mention that this final segment of Good Morning Pine Belt is brought to you by Dixie Electric Power Association, a member-owned electric co-op that now offers broadband internet. And hey, check their new coverage maps because you just may be eligible for DE FastLink even if you don't have Dixie Electric. So go check it out today because I can assure you, if you can get it, you want to get it. All right, we're continuing our conversation now with Farm Bureau agent Michael Welch right here down the road here in Ellisville. And Michael, as we went to the break, obviously we talked about a lot about y'all's new health plan, which is fantastic, and y'all really do make a difference when it comes to the claims. And I was telling you before we kind of get to my final question, Farm Bureau, I know that they're good people because y'all have on multiple occasions saved me and my family thousands of dollars based off y'all's recommendations. So that's how I know y'all truly do have the customer's best interest in mind.
Right.
So, all right, well, as we went into break, I asked the question, take off your Farm Bureau hat for a minute, and let's strictly talk recommendations. I know, like I said, this time of year, lots of people are looking at different coverage, and what do they need to look for, whether it be home, auto, life, health, whatever. Farm Bureau hat off, what do they need to look for in the insurance world to make sure that they are not getting ripped off and they're getting what's best for them and their family?
I guess the biggest thing is for customers to know not only what they're paying, but what kind of coverage do I have. Mm-hmm. You'd be shocked at the number of people that I sit down with and don't understand just the basic liability limits that are required by the state, what they have, what is recommended. Mm-hmm. The state requires $25,000 on property damage, which is the actual vehicle and anything else you may tear up. But the average vehicle on the road now is about $50,000.
Wow!
And so if you're carrying the state limits and you're involved in an accident and you total someone else's vehicle and you're at fault, and that vehicle costs $75,000, which is a truck off the lot now.
Yeah.
You're going to come out of pocket that extra $50,000. And you've either got to go to a bank to get it.
Yeah.
You've got to find a way to come up with it.
Yeah, because you got to pay it.
You've got to pay it. You're responsible for it.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, a lot of times customers, they're just wanting the cheapest. They're wanting what's the lowest I can get it. Yeah. Well, those to increase those limits, we're talking $3 or $4 a month. Yeah. It's not a big deal from a cost standpoint to increase those limits. Yeah. But unless somebody recommends it or tells it to you, you have no idea.
Yeah. What's $3 a month to an additional $50,000 that you might have to pay?
Oh, we've got a customer now that's dealing with that. Last year we sat down with him and we reviewed his coverages, and I recommended going up. I think it cost him an extra $9 across the board there for all his vehicles. And this past year had a pretty bad accident, and I think that the claim right now is it's ended up well over $100,000.
Wow!
And had he still been at those low limits, he would be out of pocket that money there. So I guess the biggest thing is that, and a lot of these policies on these homes, there's a lot of companies now that are They have mandatory wind and hail deductibles,
Yeah.
which has been standard for the coast for the past several years since Katrina.
Right.
But it's kind of creeping up this way to the north, and so a lot of policies have a wind and hail deductible.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know. So they may have a $15,000-$20,000 deductible on wind and hail, and they don't even know it.
Wow.
So check those things. Check your coverage limits to be sure that your house is properly insured if it were to burn or blow away, that you can build it back.
Yeah. And I know one thing we mentioned too is last year was the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, and obviously after Katrina it was roofer's paradise here for several months, but that was 20 years ago, and the average lifespan of a roof is roughly 30 years, and you were telling me off air that some people are getting their coverage dropped.
Yeah, so there's in the insurance world, especially on a shingle roof, that 15 to 20 year mark is kind of where a lot of the other insurance companies get pretty leery, and so we get several calls a year of people that are losing their coverage.
Wow.
Because that roof is now turning 20 years.
Yeah.
And so take a look at that. Just be sure that there's not an exclusion there in your policy to be sure that your roof is covered. If it's functional and everything is fine, obviously it doesn't need to be replaced at that moment. But there comes a point in time where a lot of these companies are forcing customers.
Kind of holding their feet to the fire.
They're going to have to replace it in order to continue coverage.
Even replace a good roof to continue coverage. That makes sense.
That's right.
Well, Michael, if somebody's dealing with that or any other issues and they just feel like, hey, I'm not really getting taken care of, and they want to go to a place where they know they're going to get taken care of, how do they get in touch with you or any of the other Jones County Farm Bureau agents around? And
so you can just do a simple Google search of Farm Bureau. Our office number there in Ellisville is 601-477-2074. And they can, if they want the office in Laurel or Waynesboro or Clark County or Jasper County or a search, any of those will give you any of the 82 offices that we have, and you can talk to a local agent, and they can help you with any of these things.
And they really will. Again, I can attest. I know that they have helped me on several occasions, saved several $1,000s, just based off their recommendation because they're good people and they care about the customers first. So, Michael, we really appreciate you coming in and your advice there. And I know we're excited for the health plan. I think it's really going to do some good for the people in the area.
It really is. And we appreciate you, Ben, for what you do here and keeping people up to speed in Jones County.
Absolutely. That's the goal. Hey, well, that does it for Good Morning Pine Belt for today. Hey, guess what? Rocky is back open just down the road from my good buddy Michael here on Highway 11, K-Rocks in Ellisville. Go check him out today. Until then, we will talk to you tomorrow. Stay safe. Keep your dial on SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.